I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on demand horror movies. Each week, my co-host Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Unfortunately, Jeff cannot be with us tonight, but I still have good news for you folks listening. Joining us tonight is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. Crystal, how you doing?
I am doing great. I've missed you. I'm so glad that you're on tonight. How have you been?
I've been good. That's right. I've been vanished for a few episodes, haven't I?
You were missed. You were missed. But luckily, we've had someone else with us. So, he helped fill the void for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Dave Dreher is back once again. Dave is my co-host over at Horror News Radio. Dave, how are you doing, bud?
That's one thing I can manage to do. I can fill a void.
Yes.
That's
my superpower.
That really brings some scary visuals, but let's go with it. We'll just relax and we'll be okay.
And breathe.
I'm going to breathe, yes. But Dave, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Crystal. It's great to be back here again. I think it's the first time I've been here with you, Doc, on this particular show.
Is it?
I don't know. It might be. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I know the last couple have been dockless. I know that. So
definitely, yeah.
Dockless. My brain is dockless. All right. Well, what we do here is we take two movies that are streaming and we watch them diligently, and then we review them here on the show. These films are usually streaming on one of your more popular streaming outlets, or they're video on demand, or sometimes they're in we get an advanced screening and haven't hit anywhere yet, but that's once in a blue moon, but not tonight. Tonight we have two films that are coming out in the coming weeks. Probably by the time you hear this, both of them will be out. The first one is Hoax from director Matt Allen, and this is a Bigfoot movie. Dave, or is it?
Or is it?
Yeah, Hoax. And the second one is Tone Deaf from Richard Bates Jr., who, if you know his filmography, he makes some really crazy films, and this time he has Robert Patrick in the palm of his hands, and I think there's a chance he may have allowed this fan favorite actor give us one of his best portrayals in a long time. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody else agrees with me, but we'll get to that movie later on in the show. Up first is Hoax. The cast includes Adrienne Barbeau, although it is a supporting role, just so everybody knows. Day player. Brian Thompson, for those who remember, I think Dave, you can back me up. He's the bad guy on Cobra. Wow, did I go?
Yeah. He's got one of those faces that once you see it, you never forget it.
That's true.
Yes.
Way back machine. Back to Cobra.
Yeah, but that's you're right. I wondered as I was watching the movie what I knew him from, because I knew him, and he's always a bad guy.
Yes, but he's not necessarily here, right? Not necessarily. All right, this is from Epic Pictures and Dread. It's coming out August 20th, and it's about a investigative team exploring deep in the remote Colorado wilderness after a group of young campers go missing, and they suspect a bear, or at least that's what everybody's saying. But our team of experts, are trying to convince everyone it's Bigfoot. So let's find out what the Grue-Crew think. Dave, you're up first. What was your first impression of Hoax?
Doc, I love Bigfoot movies. I know you know this. We've had many a discussion about this, but I'm growing weary of these Bigfoot movies that aren't really Bigfoot movies. They kind of get me all worked up and wanting to see myself a really great Bigfoot movie, and Hoax left me a little dry. There's some okay performances in it. Adrienne Barbeau, like you said, she kind of did the day performer thing here, but I mean, she's solid in the scenes that she's in. And Brian Thompson, as again, they kind of try to run that little hoax on us, because he is kind of a renowned bad guy, and that's up for interpretation here. Would you not say? fellow crew members?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean,
But
he's
at its
basically the
heart,
security guy, right? So
yeah, at its heart, I'm sorry, I have a hard time calling this a Bigfoot movie.
It does have an identity crisis. I mean, at a point, I'm like, oh, is it? Oh, well, this just took a completely different turn.
But I actually went back and watched it a second time. I'm like, okay, maybe I dozed off because that happens a lot. I work long hours, and sometimes I'll come home and I'll miss like 8 minutes because I just kind of fell asleep. And I'm like, nope, I didn't miss anything. It just kind of takes a weird left and goes down another route. And but they kind of lost me when, even though it was called Hoax, when they hoaxed me. I kind of lost a little respect for the film, and that's really not fair to the director, because it's not really a poorly shot or poorly acted film in any way, shape, or form.
No, it's not. There's some character problems that I think we'll get into with our leads that undermine the film, I think.
Oh, interesting. It's been a couple weeks now since I've seen this. For some reason, Hoax, we've had a hard time getting this recording off the ground. So I'm kind of operating with a little bit of stale information here. So, but that's my first thoughts are, don't call it a Bigfoot movie. It's not actually a Bigfoot movie.
You want more Bigfoot in your Bigfoot? I
want more Bigfoot.
No, okay. Well, Dave, at the end, did they not turn it around again, or was that just like a salt in the wound?
Well, I'm all right. I guess. Yeah, I guess. All right.
Let's find out what Crystal thinks. Crystal, what is your first impression of Hoax?
Okay, well, so the very opening scene, I was like, oh no, this is going to be awful, because the acting was horrible. If you remember, it was just some campers or whatever, and a little bit of a slaughter. And I was like, oh God, this is going to be a travesty. And then all of a sudden, the cast got infinitely better. Thank God. The acting, of course. Adrienne she's just so natural in everything she does. I love that woman. And oh my gosh, Ben, what's his last name? Browder? Yeah. Oh my God. Seriously, what is that guy taking? Like, he's like 56 or something, right? Like, he looks unbelievable. I was like, he looks exactly the same as he did in, was it Battlestar Galactica? I always get those confused. Or, but anyway, the acting definitely went upscale, and I have to agree with Dave, though, on the point of, okay, I was along with the movie. I was getting behind it. They'd established the characters really well. As you said, Brian's character, is he a bad guy? I feel like he was actually a good guy. I feel like he was trying to do the right thing. And so just being led by Ben, who to me, Ben was, really our villain here, I suppose. But was he? I don't know. It's so confusing. But I was getting behind it. And I mean, they had some good scenes with it. And then all of a sudden, it switched from a Bigfoot movie into something more like The Hills Have Eyes. And it kind of shocked me.
Could you say it took a, air quotes, wrong turn?
Yes. Oh, why didn't I do that? And you gave it to me earlier too. Oh man, missed opportunity. But yes, I was a little confused. I see how they tried to incorporate where they went with the Bigfoot by, making the claim that, you people ruin everything, blah, 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 blah. But it really didn't fit. However, I did enjoy that section of the movie quite a bit. Even though that's not what I was expecting. I was like, oh, well, look what they've done there. They just went into like gore territory, and it became it definitely became more gruesome, as it were. So in that regard, I enjoyed it. I just have to agree with Dave. You know, he's a Bigfoot lover. I'm a Bigfoot lover, but it wasn't fully a Bigfoot movie. It was kind of a Bigfoot movie with something else thrown in, I think, to give flair. Maybe, but
Maybe.
overall, the way it was shot was nice. The acting was good. I mean, I liked it. I liked it overall. That's what I said. Yeah.
So Ben Browder was in Farscape and
That's what it was.
and
Farscape.
Stargate SG. So
yes, God, doesn't he look amazing?
I didn't even make the connection because who would have thunk, right?
Yeah. I'm like the dude. I'm like 50. I'm like he's 56. I sat here just like watching him, and I was like, what is he taking? What is he doing? He looks amazing. Amazing. I was like, I would have said 45 all day long, but no older for sure. Yeah. So
I'm sure he appreciates that. I know I would. For me, my first impression is I like the twist that we're talking about, the wrong turn twist. I kind of wish it happened sooner because getting to that twist was often boring. I just didn't know who to root for. We were following Rick Paxton, the Ben Browder character, but we're not made to like him. He's odd. The character is. And we're also following Dr. Ellen Freese, right? Cheryl Texiera. Yeah. But not enough, right? And then we have all the supporting cast, which are hit and miss, except for Brian Thompson. We could have followed Brian Thompson a little more. I wish they could have. I don't know. For me, I just wasn't involved with the characters, so the story itself was limping along until it, surprised me. But then, I got a 20-minute good movie. So that, and you could, they could have still had Bigfoot involved, right? That could have been kind of awesome.
Well, I think it could have been intermingled even better. Yes, I think they could have made it like, part of the family, as it were, maybe,
I think so. Because even the gore up to then was kind of like Discover gore, right?
Yeah,
it was definitely.
It was all Discover gore, but once you do the twist, you get to see all the violent pounding and smashing and shooting. So yeah, and I'm going to say I wasn't surprised because they. And spoilers here for those, they kind of give it away early when they go into the shop, when they reach town or reach the area before they go out into the wilderness, and they bump into the same crew.
Do they? Maybe they did. I guess
I missed it if they did.
Me too.
Knocks all the potato chips out of all the groceries out of his hand. And he walks in the door.
See, I didn't even make the
I'll have to rewatch it. Now I'll have to rewatch it.
Now you gotta watch it a third time.
We missed some foreshadowing there.
But narratively, it needed some help kind of tying the idea together. But I think I enjoyed it maybe, because I wasn't disappointed about it not necessarily being a Bigfoot movie. I would have liked more Bigfoot, but I wasn't disappointed that it wasn't, because hell, the title kind of suggests it might not be, right?
Yeah, so, I'm confused about that too. I have to say, I feel like the title is just wrong. It's okay. I don't care. I mean, the title of the movie is what it is, but where does that fit in at all? I'm confused about that a bit,
Yeah, who? I guess. Yeah, because is it supposed to be? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know where to go with it.
There's no such thing happening, really, and thankfully so. I mean, want to see some action here. I guess we kind of gave something away. No, but immediately that there's something going on. That's not really giving anything away. I think it's pretty obvious. It's not a hoax from the beginning. Maybe that's just me, but would you agree, Dave?
Well,
I think. Well,
I don't think it matters because they're out to. Our guy, right, is out to prove that Bigfoot exists, and because they have the one shot of his foot that isn't a bear, that he thinks he's onto something, right?
Right.
And so he's desperate because of his career tanking to get this one last thing that'll, make the mark, right? And that's his motivation, to get all these people and do whatever else. Now, there's some weird subplot motivations that I just couldn't follow with him and some medicine he's on. Does anybody know what the hell that was about?
No,
No.
that was confusing. Okay. I mean, I guess it was just supposed to show maybe the character of someone else or something, when with like the female hostess. I don't know. It was very confusing to me. I just kind of like went, okay.
Well, I think this is the second time, actually, I've said this on this particular show. It's another one of those situations where the director he knew the story in his head, and he just assumed we all would get it. And guess what? We don't. So we're just sitting there going, okay, where's Bigfoot? What's going on? Why is there mutants in the trees now? What's going on? And but I think in the director's mind or the writer's mind, it made perfect sense. But for those of us that come into it either looking for a actual Bigfoot movie or a movie pretending to be a Bigfoot movie, it didn't succeed on either level for me, one way or the other. It didn't even succeed as a fake Bigfoot movie. So
yeah.
But with that being said, there's some really nice shots in it. The director seems to know his way around the camera. And there, some good performances. So it really kind of leaves you in an awkward position, because you don't want to say it's a great movie, but at the same time, you don't want to bash the people that obviously did some fine work in it. So
it stinks when you see a movie that has all the makings of something good, except it's just missing something. Yeah. It's like, it was all right there for you.
It was. Well, this was his first feature film, and he directed a short called Aces and Eights, and then he's been an assistant director and producer and writer and some other things.
Well, he's definitely got some talent. He should not take these negative words as anything against his ability.
I agree, and it didn't feel schlocky like a really bad sci-fi film.
No.
But it just didn't. Whatever it was reaching for, it didn't quite get it.
Missed the mark.
Yeah, it didn't quite get it. Although like I said, if it could have pulled that twist a little sooner, like about halfway, I think I would have liked it a lot better.
I think we all would have. I think it would have been like, oh, okay, this is what we're getting instead of this. I mean, for having us go through 3/4 of the movie under one assumption and then changing it is kind of hard. I'm like, I did not expect what happened to happen. So that was it's kind of a weird one. It's like, okay. I only got behind it because I love gore, and the gore was good.
Yeah,
so
the gore was good. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got
But it's still, for us Bigfooters, gore does not a Bigfoot movie make.
That is true. Say, yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm like, well, I mean, even though they brought it around at the end, I felt like I feel like that's just like, oh, here you go, guys.
It felt almost
Bigfoot did it after all.
A little condescending, wasn't it?
Yes. It's like, just so you guys know that I didn't leave you hanging. Oh, but you did.
You can't do that. That doesn't make a Bigfoot movie.
But yeah, there were a lot of good things about it. I mean, we've all seen probably so much worse. So,
yeah, there are some really, stinking turds of Bigfoot movies out there. So,
had this movie been one or the other, I think this guy would have been successful at both. It's just, I don't understand why movies nowadays are having an identity crisis. You can be just one thing, and that's okay. You don't have to try to give your viewers everything. It's all right. Just make a choice and be that. You do you, boo-boo.
You do you. All right. With that, hey, boo-boo. Let's give our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene for Hoax. Dave, as the Bigfoot expert, Lay it on us, bud.
There's no Bigfoot in this movie. Stop it. Again, I'm really kind of torn on this one. I don't want to seethe over it too much because there is a lot to like in this. There really is. There's some decent performances and some good direction. It's a lousy story. The twist Doc, you're right. It comes too late. And then even when it comes, it's, for me, it was not enough to rise this one above anything. I'm just going to give it a 2. And I feel kind of guilty. I feel kind of guilty only giving it a 2. and Crystal, I think you'll agree with me on this one. Instead of saying it's just a 2, from now on we're going to rate it in Velocipastors. So this is a 2 Velocipaster film on a scale of 5 Velocipastors.
I missed on Velocipaster.
God, oh my God!
I didn't see it.
Velocipaster is magic. Is magic, just magic.
I had to rewatch it again just to refresh myself. But no, again, there's the film obviously has issues. Where's this one going to stream, Doc? Is it just this is just a like a Reddit streaming type of thing?
Just Reddit. Yes, it is.
It's not a Shudder. It's not on something you can catch it for free.
Not yet, but it will be. It's right now. It's on VOD and Blu-ray. So.
Okay, well, I'm gonna. This one's gonna go in the swing and a miss file for me. Favorite scene? I've got to go with any of that last 15-minute segment with the gore. Just
you got to pick one because somebody's got to pick another. So.
I don't know. I mean, they all kind of ran together. I mean, they were kind of rapid fire gore. I mean, we got it all kind of all bunched together, and it's been a couple weeks since I'm seeing it, so I'm having a hard time picking a particular. So we'll go with, and help me out here, guys, the first gore scene
I
in
think
that last
was
segment.
A mallet beating.
There we go. The mallet beating at the beginning of the gore goodness, Doc. That is my favorite thing.
Yes. I mean, we had some gore before that because that one poor guy was already tied up, and they were messing with him before they met.
Yeah. That was like you said. That was a more kind of discovery gore, though. It wasn't like. I mean, there was some gore there.
It's a little torture-y, but yeah. I mean, but yeah, you got it, man. They mellowed that one guy, and I mean, I think they literally took the slamming door thing out of Texas Chainsaw for that one, didn't they?
They did, actually. You're 100% right. I actually even thought that when they did it. I'm like, oh, boy, there's their Toby Hooper homage.
Yep, there's an homage right there. All right, Crystal, what is your final thoughts? Your score, favorite scene, folks?
Well, I didn't think as poorly as Dave did on this one, but I'm with him on a lot of the points. And if you love Bigfoot movies, yeah, I think you're going to be more disappointed in this than just someone just watching it, just watching a horror movie. I say, yeah, catch it if it's on. It's not bad, and it's got some pretty interesting some pretty interesting gory moves there. I am going to give it a 2.5. Velocipastors.
That's a baby step up for me. A literal baby step.
That's true, though. And my favorite scene is the electric knife skinning. Oh my God, so good.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty good too. That's a better choice than the mallet beating. You're right.
Yeah, I'm
Throw it in the pan.
That was so good.
A little bit of sautéed fricassee of leg.
See, why didn't they just give us that the whole time? It would have been so. It would have been so good.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But that dude would have passed out. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody got cut no giant hook off your leg and you go and just sit there and squirm around. I'm sorry.
He would have.
My ass is passed out. I'm passed out and pissing myself at that point.
I'm pooping my pants. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, good for him. Stamina. You got it, dude. I don't know if it helped out, but.
Oh my God.
Stamina.
Oh well, for me, my final thoughts are: this movie is exactly like Dave said. If you are desperate for one thing and you're not going to get it, and it's going to leave a very bad taste in your mouth. You're not going to like the movie. But if you read the title of the film, that may temper that expectation. The twist is lively and fun. It comes way too late. For me, I had trouble getting into the characters because their motivations were all over the place. There were some weird things that were happening to them that I didn't quite follow, like this medicine. What were they trying to imply? And if there was something, I didn't quite get it. Up until the twist, it was actually in the horror and gore department kind of lame. Except for maybe right until it was escalating right before it, like when we had the roars and we knew something was out in the woods, we just didn't know what it was, and it was a full-on attack. That was ramping it up. But yeah, when you got in the little cabin, it went 100% what we were wanting in the first place. And the direction's good, the acting's fine, at least for the main characters, and when the gore happens, it's really good. Like that scene that you mentioned, Crystal, that was pretty, like, ugh, that might even be I'm gonna go, I don't quite like it as much as Crystal does, but I like it better than Dave, so I'm going to have to go with a 2.25. Velocipastors. 2.25. Somewhere right in that range. And favorite scene. I'm trying to pick one that's not in that last 20 minutes, but I'm kind of hard pressed to do so.
Considering that's where all the good stuff is.
That is. So I'm going
there is a pretty decent scene before there.
Well, tell me about it.
The Cave of Entrails, when they find the Cave of Entrails.
Yeah, that's true. That wasn't too bad.
That was kind of cool. Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Kind of claustrophobia and.
And it looked kind of. I should have known then that it was more than just a Bigfoot movie. See, now that should have been an idea, because I'm like, what would that? Why would he be doing that? Only weird people do stuff like that.
Really, the tagline gives the whole movie away, because the tagline is, "You may not believe the legend, but the horror is real." And knowing what we know now, that's it. Right? It's telling us right from the beginning with the title and the tagline, this is not a Bigfoot movie.
Yeah, and I think we're not convincing anybody otherwise. So we're following Dr. Ellen Freese she gradually overtakes Rick Paxton's, which is Ben Browder's character. Gradually takes over his role as the lead, which is part of my problem. But gradually does so, and I thought it was bold what eventually happens to her. I just like the idea that, okay, this movie is going to kind of go and play kind of 70s with us, right? Whereas in the 70s, no film ended in a happy note. They were all bleak endings, and this kind of does the same. Leaves us hanging there. So, yeah.
Yep. I can live with that.
You can live with that?
I can live with that.
Not quite a scene, but more of a concept.
That's we can do that new. Our favorite concept.
Favorite concept?
Yes.
Scratches my head. All right. Well, that's our review for Hoax. Hoax is being released on Blu-ray from Epic Pictures and Dread on August 20th, 2019, which is when we're recording. So by the time you hear this, it's out. Go check it out. Let's dive into our second film. It is Tone Deaf from director Richard Bates Jr. The cast includes Amanda Crew, Robert Patrick, and Haley Marie Norman. This is coming out August 23rd in theaters and on demand. And it's about a woman who falls on hard times. Basically, she loses her job and maybe her self-respect, and heads out to the country for a quiet weekend. And instead of a quiet weekend, she runs into Robert Patrick, who rents her the house. And Robert Patrick's, they say in the film he's suffering from dementia, but I think he's been misdiagnosed. Whatever's happening to him is delirious in both horror and comedy. And Richard Bates has done some really strange and splendid work before, and keeps that up with Tone Deaf. So let's find out what the crew think. What's their first impression of Tone Deaf? Crystal, start us off.
So, I wasn't really expecting this movie to be so funny, but it's really funny. And I think Robert Patrick delivered an amazing performance. He is so scary in this role, and yet he has some really funny comedic moments in it and pulled it off amazingly. Like, he looks insane at points. And the cinematography is lovely. The acting, I think, actually from all of the characters and all of the actors was great. I think that the script was good. Like, the story, had a complete arc. I thought that his character would take another route here or there, but he did whatever they wanted him to, and I was okay with that. It didn't upset me or bother me because his character was pretty crazy. I mean, crazy in a strange and odd way. I don't know if dementia is the case either. He just seemed like an old, crotchety old man who just wanted to have some fun. Really. They break the fourth wall, which I found really interesting. And I guess when the movie comes to wrap itself up, what I love about it is what Robert Patrick is a baby boomer, and then she is a millennial. And I love how, if you look at a lot of the memes out there, they always talk about how baby boomers and millennials are the same, and about how they're both whiny. And I think it's so funny at the end that it wraps it up and like kind of solidifies that. Because really, her character and his are kind of similar, but there's such great moments, like when she doesn't realize what a bad piano player she is, and he's like, "You didn't know?" Dead, just dead, just dead, because everyone's told her how good she was. Even Ray's character from the grave, as it were. It's like some of it was just really funny, and I thought it was cute and witty how he technically defended her or saved her at one point, only to put her in harm's way again. I found myself, I really liked this movie. I mean, it wasn't the greatest movie I've seen. No, but it was. I don't think it's for everyone. I definitely don't think it's for everyone. I think it's going to be kind of weird and maybe a little boring and strange for some people. But I think for a lot of people, they'll enjoy it. And I think if you can kind of just watch it as fun, I mean, and it's got some decent gore at points too. So yeah,
It does.
yeah,
It does.
that's how I felt.
Yeah. Ray Wise plays Michael, her father, and
Yes.
Kim Delaney plays her mother.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And-
Yeah, I was surprised to see both of them in there. Actually, I wasn't anticipating Ray Wise or Kim Delaney there. Both very, very good actors.
Oh yeah, and great in this film as well. And Ray Santiago plays
Yes,
her
Pablo.
boss. Yeah, and it's like, oh, he's hilarious. He's only in the beginning. Day player. We got a day player here.
Another day player, but he's a good one to have. We haven't seen too much of him since Ash versus Evil Dead, and he's being sorely underused.
Not enough.
I
yes.
agree.
Yeah.
And he was such a different character here. He was so douchey. It's like, ugh, dude, really?
It was great. All right. Well, Dave, I want to know your first impression of Tone Deaf, because this is not a film that I think would normally be in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. But I was won over, Doc. Robert Patrick was amazing in this movie. You kind of hinted at our opening that it might be potentially be one of his better performances of his career, and I would have to agree with that statement. I've always liked Robert Patrick, but he's definitely been pigeonholed into that T-1000, lanky guy who runs real quick thing. You seen some of these same acting chops when he was in The Sopranos. I don't know if either of you were a fan of The Sopranos.
Wow, I forgot. Yeah, wow.
He had a spin on The Sopranos as a sporting store owner who gets into some trouble with Tony, and he was amazing. It's like, oh man, that guy can act. And then we kind of forgot about him. He hasn't really been around much, and then here he is again. You're like, oh shit, that's right, this guy can act. And he's good. He handles the he handles the violence and the disturbing stuff with that weird humor that you were alluding to. And I found myself really kind of enjoying this movie quite a bit, much to my surprise, Doc. So that's my first impression.
Well, for me, I've been watching the career of Richard Bates Jr. Everybody raved about Excision, which came out in 2012, and it was one of the early films that we kind of talked about. I think it was on maybe my Doc Rotten podcast before we even got into Horror News Radio full time. And I wasn't a fan, and I didn't like, but I liked Suburban Gothic a little better. And then I really liked Trash Fire, which I saw at the Kentucky Film. It's not Kentucky at all. It's Knoxville. Sorry,
it's not Kentucky at all.
Not Kentucky at all. The Knoxville Horror Film Festival, and I really enjoyed it there. And then this one, I enjoyed even more. So it's really fun to watch this director grow. And again, you guys agree with me that Robert Patrick's performance is amazing in this, and one of the best lead performances of the year so far. And he's all conflicted. He's trying to figure things out, and he's a bit twisted, and he's hilarious, and he has these crazy ass hallucinogenic dreams.
I forgot about.
With the girls in blue.
Yeah, the blue girls, right? And
that was like very David Lynch of him. I was like, oh god,
yeah, that really was very much so.
And then of course, he has Olive take some drugs, take some LSD, go on a trip, and that's hilarious too. And then at the end, all right, I've got to claim a scene. You guys can't take it as a favorite scene. I'm going to have to type it and send it to you. Don't take my scene. But when her mother, who it looks like it's going to be just basically this woman who she calls every once in a while, and that was going to be it. I really thought that was going to be it, but no. At the end, she gets all crazy and worried about her daughter, and then goes on the road trip, and that I loved that part of it. I just really found this like a demented, fun take on a variety of different stories for character stories, right? And it's just has to happen to have a rather twisted, horror-filled beat to it. So I was really fascinated. It kept my attention. I was gripped, and I was enjoying the gore when it happened, and I was enjoying the build up to it. And is this guy nuts? Is he not? And is he going to champion her, or is he going to try to kill her? Why? And trying to figure it all out, because at one point she runs against a guy that is definitely does not have her best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And he's aware of it. So he takes care of that situation, which is
strange, because why? Why would he do that? I mean, and that's why at a point I was thinking he was going to do some other things than what he did, considering, what he had been through and stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be like this. I really didn't call the ending. I really didn't.
Yeah. I was having the same thing where, is he going to be the, is he truly the antagonist, or is he going to end up being like her savior? And you didn't know, even though he was, demented. He was definitely already twisted. But so that was fascinating, and the dialogue was hilarious. Like when he calls up and she realizes that the pictures are turned around, and he makes up a lie on the fly. It's just hilarious, about the crazy old lady was in there. It's just. I thought it was witty, and I'm glad you mentioned it, Crystal, because I'd almost forgotten. But I really enjoyed the when they broke the fourth wall there 2 or 3 times, especially Robert Patrick's character, right?
Oh yeah, I think
And,
she only does it one time at the end, doesn't she?
right.
I
Because
think like the literally the last scene, right?
right.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like hinting that maybe now it's her turn.
Yeah, that's what. See, and that's what I was saying. Like, I think it brings it full circle that it's baby boomers and millennials are very similar, and they kind of that was actually really funny to me. It's such a silly thing, I know, but I was like, oh my god, that's so fucking funny. Like that is so funny. I was like, okay, I see where they were going this whole movie. They were really just pulling on baby boomers and millennials, which.
Well, and everybody's got their hangups, right? Even our friends have different hangups, and like the one friend that has the cornrows, right? She just doesn't get it, right? She's oblivious to anything that isn't her own problems, which was hilarious. Gosh. And then the one time when her friend's on voice chat and she's got
the dude.
The dude, her one night stand that can't keep it up. So,
and she's like, "I told you not to do so much cocaine." It's like, oh my god. Well, I mean, honestly, some of the lines are hilarious. Like before she, goes to the Airbnb or whatever, like one of her girlfriends is going to meet up with. Oh god. I hate to say it, Pablo is who I know him as, and she's like, and they're like, and she's like, someone I'm looking very forward to giving herpes to, or something like that. I'm like, oh my god, what kind of movie is this? That's awful. But yeah, it's such a crazy-ish movie, but I think it's a lot of fun. I'm trying to think if there was any pacing issues. If there was anything that I didn't like about the movie, I would say it would probably have to be something to do with pacing. But I mean, it was okay. It was paced okay. I never felt really bored. And there were moments that I really cheered. Like when Robert Patrick walked out with the cowboy outfit on, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, he looks so good in that. I don't know why he didn't wear that the whole time. That would have been awesome. Yeah, I was like, cowboys are back. But
I want to jump on the pacing thing because, like its characters, the film has a little bit of an identity problem as well. And you're mentioning Robert Patrick's character, Harvey, when he comes out, you kind of like it. It's and we've mentioned it also, like is Harvey a good guy or a bad guy, and it kind of has that both going for it and working against it at the same time because it makes it a challenge to follow, but it also makes it rewarding at the same time. So it's really interesting in that respect, that the complexity of it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I was like, I know there's a couple things there where I was like, well, but honestly, they developed the character so well. I feel like it's obviously it's just a character-driven movie. There wasn't really much of a plot, so to speak, other than the characters, living their best lives, I guess. It's like, I'm just going to live my best. I mean, because really the whole plot, and I think this is in the trailer, that Robert Patrick's character wants to kill someone, right? I believe it's in the trailer. He just wants to kill someone and wants to know what it's like, and he's gonna die soon or whatever, and it's his bucket list kind of thing.
Yeah, it's on his bucket list.
Yeah. And so it's just really about all their characters, and I'm really impressed with the mother and how she was able to get such a young stud. I'm just kidding. Oh God, he was a douche. She was so right. Yeah, but it was funny. Was it the best horror movie of the year? No, but it was funny and it was cute and had some good characters, and
it might not be the best horror film, but it's one I would recommend if for no other reason to catch Robert Patrick.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely one of Robert Patrick's better performances.
I really would like to see him in more. I think he was really, really good. And I honestly think he could play good just as easily as bad. So I would just like to see him in more stuff. specifically horror. Thank you. But, I mean, I guess I'll take what I can get.
Well, he's in tons of stuff. If you look at his IMDb, he's busy as all can get out. He's doing TV shows.
Oh, that's because I don't really watch anything. That's my problem then. Yeah.
I mean, do I remember that he was on True Blood?
Whoa, really?
Yeah, Jackson Hervaux. Wow.
Boy, I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched that entire
Me too.
show.
I definitely missed that.
Yeah.
And what about the lead actress? Do you know what has she been in anything? Because I thought she was great. She was fun.
She was. This is not her first thing. She's in a movie called Freaks, I think it's coming out in September.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it's an alien film, a sci-fi film, not like the Freaks from the 20s.
And that's and let me tell you, that's one of my very favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah,
Freaks. Yes, God, that movie is so good. Sorry, we're getting off track, but that movie is so good. It freaked me out. But it really.
See what you did there.
But the fact that they used real people and everything, and the story, here you have this horrible woman who's taking advantage of this guy. Oh, classic. You must see. Yes.
I think many people might know her from Silicon Valley. She's been in that show for the past 2 years, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Me neither. So that's why we're at a deficit here.
Yep. But she was good.
What do you think, Dave? You happy with her performance?
Yeah, definitely. I seem like I'd seen her in something before. I'd never seen Silicon Valley, but she has a very familiar quality about her for some reason. I don't know why. But she was. I thought she was quite exceptional in this. I liked it. And sometimes just the way she would look at the camera. It was like you had almost like an inside running joke with her. Because she would just she'd look at the camera, kind of give that little smirk, and you're just kind of like, I see what you're doing. She did that a couple different times in the movie. So able to connect for some reason that I can't explain. So I liked her in it. I would like to see her in more stuff.
Definitely.
But, and I guess for me, it's like there were so many things where I was like, "Girl, you are crazy." She was living a very high risk lifestyle. I was like, "Girl, what the heck? She's crazy." Yeah. So yeah,
this is the sketchiest car wash I've ever seen.
Oh my God! Well, I never washed a car before. I only used this as a cover to sell drugs. I was dead. I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome.
And then she drives back around. What kind of drugs do you sell?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So I like the patience the film has to send that joke up. So
yeah.
And I loved Ray Wise being in this. I love him, and I was afraid with the beginning of the film that we really weren't going to get anything good with him. But thankfully, during the trip, her little trip, that he shows up and he gives the greatest dialogue with her. The whole thing. Oh
God! How well did you think I did? He's like, "You're great, honey, great." Like, yeah. Really, the tone deaf portion of this is so apropos. It totally fits and it makes sense. But it really is just a little subtle side note to everything. It's like,
but it hits home, right? It's the whole thing is it pays off. It's like, you didn't know you were.
I know that's why I was like, but let's be honest. What do we tell all kids? You're so wonderful. You're great. Yeah. You could be whatever you want. No, I mean, it's like, oh, you didn't know you were bad. She really thought she was good. I can't handle that. So funny. She's like, it's been a long time, but oh, you're so good. Even all her friends. Oh, that was good. And I thought at the first couple of times, I thought, is that supposed to sound like that? Is that supposed to sound like that? Or is it really bad? Is it bad? Maybe it's just, the piece. I don't know. No, obviously it was supposed to be bad.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
The title is literal. Just like
like
Hoax.
Just like Hoax, yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's true.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene for Tone deaf. Do not take my scene.
Oh,
Crystal,
did
cut us
you
off.
text us? Did you text us?
I
'Cause I don't know
didn't.
if you
I didn't.
did.
I didn't.
Um,
It involves an axe.
Uh-oh. So okay, so I don't. I'm going to try to. I don't think I'm going to take it anyway.
Oh no, it's not an axe. It's actually he he pulls a tomahawk out of something, and he runs around with a tomahawk instead of an axe. Which she's like, she calls him on it too. Like, is that a tomahawk?
Yeah, she does. She says, "Is that tomahawk?"
I know. Talk about cultural appropriation.
Yeah, she said racially insensitive or something like that. She says.
Okay,
Yeah.
you want to know what the funniest part is, though? I thought the same thing. I was like, oh God, I actually thought that. I hate myself for that. I was like, oh. But okay, so I definitely think this is a must watch. I mean, like you said, for Robert Patrick's character, I think the movie was great. It was shot well. It's got some funny bits. I think it was well done. It's not going to scare anyone, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, but it's definitely got some gore to it, and actually some really interesting. There's some actually really cool gore moments, and so I give it a 3.5. And my favorite scene, oh my gosh, this is so good. My favorite scene is, and it's like, oh, you poor thing. And then he puts her out of her misery. Robert Patrick, oh, you poor thing. I don't want to give anything away. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that when he?
Yeah. In the hotel. Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, that! Oh my God, yes. Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, that was appropriate. Yeah, such a great scene.
I do like that. Dave, what is your final thoughts? Your score, favorite scene?
I like this movie a lot, but like Crystal said, honestly, it's really not a horror film per se. There's some maybe nightmarish images in this, but it's very much a character study, I would say.
Yes,
definitely. But a very good character study. I really enjoyed the two lead performers. Doc, I agree with you. I think this might be one of Robert Patrick's best performances in his career, quite frankly. But he's given the opportunity to shine, and which kind of leads into my favorite scene. And I can't even explain to you why this is my favorite scene, but here I am 2 weeks after watching it, and for some reason, this scene is still in my head, and I don't even remember what the context of it was in the film. But it's during one of those nightmare sequences, or he's daydreaming or whatever he's doing, and he opens up that door and he's wearing the bright red shirt with the blue pants, and there's all those babies dressed exactly like him.
Oh my God!
And he
that was just so funny.
The look on his face, he's just like, "What the fuck?" I mean, it's a quick scene. It's maybe 6 seconds, 7 seconds, but it's just the way it was put together, and his reaction. That look on his face, priceless. Yeah, it's just absolutely priceless, and there's no words are even said. But that's the type of movie this is, and I'm going to agree with Crystal. I'm going to give this 3.5 as well.
Very good. I'm just going to start off saying I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well. I really like this film, and I hope that Robert Patrick ends up on the best of for the year when we do it next spring. Or next winter, I guess I should say, and that he's up for best lead, because I think he is fantastic in this. It's definitely a performance I'm going to remember for him. It's the best film Richard Bates has made. This is my favorite of his, and I really like this movie a lot. And I think I kind of think I'm going to give it a little more. I'm going to give it a 3.75.
All right.
I'm bumping it up.
Doc taking the baby step.
I am taking that little baby step. Is it a horror film? Well, it's more of a comedy than a horror film, but I think it is a horror film because it's basically he's a Norman Bates. Right?
Yeah,
He
definitely is. Yeah, this is another play on the Norman Bates mythos. Right. Yeah,
he is as much a horror film as Psycho is. It's just not, it's just funny. It's just taking a funny look at it. And it is very much like you said, a character piece. The comedy comes out of the dialogue and how they interact and the choices they make. I don't think there's really a joke in here, right?
No.
So it's, but man, did I enjoy this film. My favorite scene. Oh, okay. So before I get to my favorite scene, and put everybody in suspense here. I will admit I was a bit thrown at first with Robert Patrick talking straight into the camera because I couldn't figure out why he was telling me what he was telling me. Right. And I felt like he's talking to the audience, but maybe I'm not the right audience he's talking to. So I was a little put off by that at first. He does it, I think, 3 times. So by the 3rd time, I was totally into it. And then, of course, it pays off with Olive at the end. And then I was, all about it then. But the first time, which I think might even be the first
he's
time,
gardening or something.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's so I think that could have been handled a little bit better, but maybe that helps us kind of get into the zone of where this film is. Maybe, I'm not sure. But I do love that technique when it's done well, and later in the film,
it's always shocking. Like it's so
it
was very unexpected for me. I was like, "Whoa, oh, okay, this is where okay, all right."
Yeah. So by the time she does it, it's just like, oh, that's splendid. That's a Ferris Bueller moment right there. All right, so my favorite scene is the mother is coming to the house. They finally made it there because they have a flat and it's taking a long time and all the suspense is going on. And she's got the young whippersnapper that she's
I know. Okay.
And she's like, she goes, we get through this, I'm definitely going to, and he walks in the house chest high, right? He's in there, boom, boom, boom. And Robert Patrick slams that tomahawk right into his head. And he just drops. It was great.
It was quick.
Oh my God. It was just, it was quick. And it was like shining quick, right? From,
I was like, oh, okay. I honestly, I was kind of hoping he was going to make it.
At that point, you kind of felt for him, right?
Yeah.
And, because she was finally seeing him for a little bit more than what he was. And short-lived. But I just love the impact. Boom to that. It was just like.
But her reaction, though, too, she's like, oh, it's okay. Because, there'll be another one. Oh, my God. This lady. She's awful.
Living in the commune. That was great. Yeah. Great cast, great direction, fun film. Hope everybody gets a chance to watch it.
Yep.
All right. So that was Tone Deaf from Richard Bates Jr., Amanda Crew, Robert Patrick, and the leads. It is in theaters on demand August 23rd. So by the time you're hearing this, it's likely out there. Check it out and let us know what you think. So the films we covered tonight were Hoax, Tone Deaf. And if you want to give us some feedback, you can do it. Feedback at gruesomemagazine.com is the way to do it through email. You can go to Facebook and look for our Gruesome Magazine group and join us there. Or you can go to gruesomemagazine.com. Leave a comment on the blog post for this very podcast. Any way you want to do it, we want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
I don't want to hear from you.
All right. We won't send it to Dave. Millennial. Actually, you're the other one, right? You're the
yeah. I'd be the baby boomer.
I guess I would be too, wouldn't I?
Are you sure? I don't know. I don't know what
I don't know where it stops.
I am. What year were you born, Doc?
I'm not saying here on.
Come on.
No. All right, Dave.
Own your oldness.
Oh no, Dave, Crystal. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me and us, actually.
All right, with that, let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.